Hate 'em or love 'em, Meld is tapping into a brand new industry in a brand new niche, aiming to raise millions within the blockchain and crypto space over the course of the next 5 to 10 years. As a part of today's video, I want to explain exactly what that is and exactly how this will impact the Meld protocol. What's up, Beta Nation? Welcome to Dapp Central, your home for everything blockchain and crypto. I'm your host here, Fareed. As a part of today's video, we've got some breaking news with Meld tapping into a brand new niche, which I want to discuss. Now, first and foremost, I want to lay down the foundation with Blackrock also tapping into that same exact niche. So without any further ado, let's jump right on in. It states here, BlackRock pivots into the RWA sector with a planned Ethereum tokenized asset funds. Institutional asset manager giant, aka BlackRock, which has now also gotten access to Bitcoin through the recent launch and the acceptance of the Bitcoin ETF, has continued its foray into digital assets with a new tokenized asset fund launched on Ethereum. Again, I'm going to break down a couple key highlights here, laying down the foundation, laying down the groundwork as to why RWAs are important, and then two recent partnerships that Meld has struck with RWA platforms aiming to bring real-world assets onto their own L1 while also allowing you to utilize them as collateral on their lending and borrowing protocol. So on March 19th, BlackRock revealed that it's preparing to offer a brand new fund through a partnership with digital asset tokenization specialist called Securitize. I'll jump over into the website here in just a minute, but as you guys can see here, they're now also promoting the huge news here with BlackRock and that launch of the brand new BUIDL fund launched by them. So it states here, according to the filing by the U.S. Securities Exchange Commission, or the SEC, the Wall Street giant plans to launch the BlackRock USD Institutional Digital Liquidity Fund. However, the current size of the fund has yet to be disclosed. Now, they do talk about how much it'll take to actually invest in this fund and that they're only taking investments from institutional hands at this point. Scrolling down just a little bit here, it states the fund will be based on the Ethereum blockchain. So a lot of eyeballs going towards Ethereum, again, following the recent Bitcoin spot ETF approval. Now, this will also trade under the ticker BUIDL. The Ethereum address hosting it already has some transfers or some transactions associated with it, and it contains 100 of the BUIDL tokens, and they're all held by one single address. Now it continues to read, this product will only be available to institutional investors with the minimum investment accepted set at $100,000. So if you do the math there, that's $100,000 times one, I believe equaling about $10 million. Continuing on, it reads, RWA tokenization is the process of putting traditional assets such as gold, commodities, treasuries, and real estate all on the blockchain. It's been predicted to become a multi-trillion-dollar industry over the next decade, and Wall Street wants in on the action. I think a lot of these companies were extremely late when it came to Bitcoin, and they're making sure to stick around now and to sort of front run additional narratives, including RWAs and AI adoption. It continues to read on, big banks such as JP Morgan, Citi, and BOA, or Bank of America, are all experimenting with RWA tokenization. In closing, private wealth management firm Bernstein has estimated around 2% of the global money supply, roughly $3 trillion, could be tokenized on the blockchain over the next 5 years. Just to put this into perspective, right now, Bitcoin has just broken over a $1.2 to $1.3 trillion valuation, and they're expecting that RWAs alone could host over $3 trillion. So again, you do the math there. Keep in mind the potential here and the fact that we now have big money in the game, which now changes everything when it comes to blockchain and crypto. The very last sentence reads, additionally, Citigroup has estimated the tokenization market could swell to $5 trillion by 2030. Jumping over to the official Securitize website, they are advertising the fact that they're now collaborating with BlackRock. They've got over $400 million locked on chain with over 500,000 accounts and counting, and they claim to be the #1 real leader in RWA, or real world tokenization. So how does this tie directly back over into Meld? As it stands right now, we've got Meld partnering up with Swarm Markets. It reads here, this is going to be a brand new powerful allegiance, opening up the predicted $1 trillion RWA market to real world investors. Now, we haven't even gotten to the best part yet in how these RWAs tie right back into the Meld lending and borrowing protocol. So Meld RWAs powered by Swarm will be integrated into Meld's lending and borrowing protocol, giving users the ability to borrow against their RWA assets, such as Apple stock or even Tesla stock. So in this example here, just like we had Securitize providing the security and digitizing the assets for Blackrock, here we have Swarm digitizing and tokenizing assets such as stocks into the Meld L1 or into the Meld blockchain. So Jedaminas states the Meld lending and borrowing protocol will even support borrowing assets or borrowing, directly against your RWA. Again, imagine owning Apple stock or Tesla stock or gold, whatever the case is, tokenizing that, having that being held by custodian, you receiving an on-chain representation of that value through an NFT, and then being able to lock that up as collateral on the Meld protocol and then borrowing directly against that. This opens up a huge new use case for not just Meld, but for the entire space within blockchain and crypto. Jumping over into the official website for Swarm, I want to quickly highlight a couple of things here. Again, they are reputable when it comes to this business model. They now have stocks, which include Blackrock, of course, Coinbase, Nvidia, and Microsoft, just to name a few. And again, they state that they're here to help trade RWAs or real world assets, which will be 100% asset backed. So you're never going to receive an asset on chain that isn't actually backed by the underlying stock or the underlying gold or whatever the actual asset is, which should be held by a third-party custodian. Now, right now, they've got over $17 million locked in the Swarm protocol. I would assume that these are all RWAs managed by the Swarm team. And as I continue to scroll down here, they break down exactly how the tokenization process works. So at the very beginning, you've got the asset, which is in physical form. Again, that could be gold, the D to home, your stock, whatever that thing is that is off chain. You then provide that to a custodian. That custodian is going to relay that information over to the Swarm team, which will help you with digitizing and minting the representation of that asset on chain. And that'll be sent directly to your wallet. From there, you now have a tokenized version of your custody asset, and you can now begin to use that on chain. Now, if you want to go through the reverse process, I believe you have to return that NFT back in order to unlock your underlying collateral. So it states here that they tokenize publicly traded securities, again, using Apple and Tesla stock as just a few examples. The underlying RWAs are held by institutional custodians, again, making sure that not only are you safe, but that your on-chain asset is always backed by the underlying collateral. The last thing that you want to do is have something that's on-chain that is no longer being backed by a physical asset, therefore basically making it extremely useless. Scrolling down here, it states that their tokens are redeemable for their underlying RWA. Again, that's the reverse process when you're done dealing with the RWA on-chain and you want to redeem that. Lastly, it states that they provide self-custody and that they give you full control of your asset. So once you have that asset minted, that will be sent directly to your own wallet for you to hold and do as you wish. Again, they break everything down here. It talks about their gold standard or the approach that they take into making sure that everything is done in a regulatory compliant way. So that's the first set of updates I want to highlight there when it comes to Meld. Next, we've got Meld also partnering up with BitBond. They're a token infrastructure tool that allows for you to tokenize real world assets at an institutional level. Now, I believe they're providing the tools in order to do that. And I actually took a minute here to check them out here on their official platform. So they've got a token tool platform. We're going to be jumping into that, but they've just added support for the Meld chain on there as well. So you can now begin to use their platform here, available at tokentool.bitbond.com, to now mint NFTs and fungible tokens directly on the Meld L1. As you can see, you have the ability to create a token, manage tokens, distribute tokens, automate payments, create token sales, manage token sales, create NFTs, manage NFTs, distribute NFTs, and the list goes on. The very last thing I want to highlight here is the fact that Meld's roadmap continues to grow. We just saw the team releasing lending and borrowing on their own L1. Please check out my video breaking that down. That was a huge announcement. I enjoyed that process. The actual platform is extremely simple and easy to use. Here's an actual quick glimpse of it. and I definitely recommend that you go ahead and take the time to review it. So they've got an additional secret product, which has now been confirmed that it's not the RWAs. They've got an additional secret product down here as well, which you've yet to hear about. They've got their upcoming Meld naming service, similar to something like ADA handles that we've come to know here on Cardano. But we've now got the tokenized real world asset yield offered in the Meld app as well, now that we've got the official partnerships with BitBond as well as Swarm. So that will do it here for today's video. Wanted to really take a minute to highlight what Meld has been doing, how RWAs are picking up steam, and Meld is now going to be in that same exact playing field, ready to unlock millions of dollars for people that have assets off-chain that want to bring them on-chain and potentially give them the ability to also utilize that as collateral. So if you learn anything along the way as a part of today's video, I would appreciate you if you could smash that thumbs up. If it's your first time stopping by Dapp Central and you do appreciate content like this and you want to support, consider subscribing, but also consider delegating with the official Dapp Central stake pool, which is stake pool ticker DAPP. That said, if you have any comments, leave them down below. And on that note, I'll see you all in the next video.